And hello, everyone. No storm talk, although it is technically storm talk this week. But as you guys know, if you've been here for a while, we switched it over to Derby Talk for a few days for this week as we are keeping an eye on the setup as we get to the next several days. In fact, here's a live look there at Churchill Downs at Twin Spires after opening night was very successful. Everything's off to a good start. Weather is beautiful. But as we all know, that is unfortunately about to change. Hello, everyone. I'm Wave Meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to the blog today. A lot to cover, as you guys might suspect. It's not going to be a quiet Derby week, and there will be some dry time and some moments that are going to be awesome with the weather cooperating. But there will be others, obviously, when the weather will get quite active, and in some cases, it can get dangerous out there with some of these thunderstorms rolling through the area. And it's not a clear shot, by the way, on how these will play out. This is not like a system or multiple systems where we get a squall line, we know what's going to hit, timing it out, or a day of activity and the front moves in and clears the air out. This one's not going to be as nice for us. The pattern this week involves a boundary moving in that just doesn't want to leave town. Remember the drawings I've been doing in the past week. Lays out across the Ohio Valley, a low attaches to it, enhances it even more, and still got another weak system, even for Oaks, that tries to swing in here before this is finally all done. And it still looks like this will all end on a perfect note and timing to get right into Derby Day. Rarely does that happen. But I think if we end on that, then I think everyone will be happy if we have a fantastic Derby Day, because that's when really obviously the entire world is looking at us is on that day. So this week, all of our local events are going to be the ones a little more at risk. So there's a lot to cover. I won't try to ramble too long. As you guys know, you can talk or amongst yourselves or ask your questions on the social media side. On the streaming side, you can't see that, but you can open up both windows if you would like. RDC, we've got ZK and Kathy, Adam. We got our friends, family all in here, it seems like. So let's dive into it. Let's start. As you guys know, I like to begin with the current setup, and then we kind of just roll into how things will play out as the week evolves here. First off, we're at 60 degrees, nice and mild, not as chilly of a morning start as we've had the past couple of days, 55 in Salem and 68 already into Marion County. It's mainly because of the clouds, too, that we've had in the area that have kept us a little bit on the warmer side. We're moving out, so we're getting more and more of that sun showing up now. So we're off to what looks to be a very warm day today. It is a warm front moving in. Highs today easily into the mid-80s. So shorts weather for today. Don't wash the car, though, unless you really want it to look pretty. But don't really waste your time because it will be a stormy week. And, yeah, it will come back to get you. So, I mean, you can wash it, get the pollen off if the pollen's on there. But don't get too much, don't detail the car and get too worked up on that. All right, so how do we look when it comes to the front? Well, the front's to our west. You can easily see where it is in the plains, a common spot in the past 3 to 4 weeks where fronts have been lined up waiting for us. So today the warm front is right across the Ohio Valley. Our wind right now is calm. We should get more of a southeast and then eventually a south wind this afternoon, an indicator that the warm front has passed by. Very diffuse warm front, by the way, so a little hard to pick out. But don't see much action with it as far as thunderstorms. It's possible that something could develop along that boundary, as warm fronts are known to do that, but I don't think it's going to be anything widespread or long-lasting. I think it'll be relatively short, but I can't rule that out, so just FYI. So our focus is really just watching this front. How does it react today? How much activity does it blossom into the Midwest, under the South? My general rule of thumb is if you start getting thunderstorms that either are stronger than expected to the west or start doing damage to the west, that's not a good sign of what will happen here, is that potential to get damaging weather locally. But if you see a lot of bust in forecast to our west and thunderstorm potential and damage reports, usually that bodes well for areas. Now, it's not the environment, it changes as the storm system moves along, don't get me wrong, but that is something just personally I've noticed that if you get a lot of damaging weather to the west, you really pay more attention to what's going to happen here. But if it's calmer to the west, the reality may end up being tamer for us. So we'll see. But again, watching today. The severe risk for today is a moderate all the way into the upper Midwest, and they're closer to a low pressure that won't be bothering us. The low is going to keep going into Canada, but the front that it's attached to will certainly bother us. And you can see there's different areas of enhanced. And that's because there are different areas where the wind, the jet streaks are allowing for the perfect environment for the tailpipe, for the thunderstorms to produce more damaging weather. But it's really a risk up and down the front. But when you get those little surges in that jet stream, kind of think of a little impulse kind of riding through. I don't know how to explain it creatively today. I feel like I've always tried to do analogies. Today my brain is just not working. But you get the idea. All right. There's the risk for today to the west. How about tomorrow? Well, it's over us. All right. But that pocket of wind with that low pressure followed along. So there you go. That wind moved in Texas. Boom, boom, there you go. Severe weather. Passed by us at night. So not an ideal setup for thunderstorms to react to that. Now, as it passes by, there is a very low in potential that it could try to fire up some smaller thunderstorms right along the Ohio River tomorrow morning. I'm not going to roll that out. If they were to develop, they would likely be elevated and they would contain more of a small hail threat and a bit of lightning. But very, very patchy, little pieces of popcorn is what they would look like on the radar as that little wind streak goes by. Otherwise, by the time it gets into Ohio and Lake Erie, it is hitting the warmest part of the day and enhances more, and that's why there's an enhanced risk. So that little passing by of the energy actually helps us out. But as it moves by, though, it could still pick up a few showers when rolled out. Otherwise, the front is what we'll have to watch. How does that fire up during the heat of the day, and how do the thunderstorms evolve? Because the front will be sluggish. It will become more horizontal, and therefore you're not getting thunderstorms that are racing through the area. You get very disorganized looking storms at that point. Kind of a mess, to be honest. The risk for day 3, Wednesday, or Steamboat Race Day, mainly focused where the new low is developing that will eventually grab the front and move into Illinois and Indiana. So the severe weather is concentrated around the low, but I don't think we should roll out isolated severe weather warnings for Wednesday. I don't think it's enough yet for an alert day, but it's close. It is close. So we may have an alert day week. Forget Derby week. We're just going to rename it alert day week. It's possible that we could get a gusty thunderstorm for Wednesday. I'll show you why on that. And we don't have an outlook on Wednesday, excuse me. We don't have an outlook on Thursday yet, even though we have the alert day on Thursday, because we feel that once that low does certainly move into the area, it will have a warm front wave of thunderstorms, likely about this time for Thursday. And then we get the backlash thunderstorms that could provide for stronger thunderstorms as we head into Thursday evening. So I got a feeling outlooks are coming. I can't imagine Thursday getting to Thursday and there's no outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. I just don't see that happening right now from everything I've looked at. Don't know why the outlook's not out yet. Maybe because it's not a close in range. Maybe tomorrow. It'll be a day 3 outlook tomorrow, so it should be there, I think. But that's my personal opinion anyway. Let's move on. Let's start with something that Ryan Hoke. I lost the connection to my window. You guys are still there, though, right? Type 3 if you hear me. Type 3 if you hear me. Didn't want to lose you all. I clicked the wrong button, so I don't make sure I didn't lose you. I see Carrie. I see Joe. I see Nikki. Okay, well, Daddy says 3. Casey says 3. All right, everyone's good. Everyone's good. Okay. Now, Ryan Oak showed you last night starting our new teaser here of our weather model that is born right here in Louisville, Kentucky. This is an AI model from Climate Vision. A guy named Chris Good. I think we're related. I'm not sure, but same name. Is working with Climate Vision to create weather models using ADA products with a mix of some high-res data that we have now, but it's more of a twisted look at the data to create an AI futurecast. Now, this is new technology, and we are the only TV station showing this in the country. So you guys are getting exclusive on this. And we've been monitoring it. We're going to be watching it every day this week and comparing it to trends, see how things evolve. And it's been remarkable because this can do high res down to about 2 kilometers, which is impressive, all the way to nearly 170 hours out, which There is no high-res model right now that does that. So to get that much detail that far out, it can be good and bad in the sense it can work against you because you see really bad stuff and you're like, oh no, and you start to get worried. You don't want to get worried. But the details you can get on this, and we can get a lot of data on it. Some of this we can show on air, and some of it we can't because it's in-house. But we'll tell you about it if we see something wild. But it's an interesting setup, and I think it's going to be, for you guys, an exciting thing to watch and see how it evolves, because you guys are the first audience, again, in the United States to see this model with the AI technology to it. I mean, again, it uses a lot of what we call other models for the WRF model and the HER model, because it wants to make sure it gets the initial conditions. And that's with every weather model. If they start off showing the environment now accurately, then you get a little more faith in them. If, say, for example, an update came in now and said that it was thunderstorms in the area now and heavy rain, well, that's not a good thing. That's a sign the model is struggling with even the current setup. So why would we believe it for what it says 2 days later? So there are a lot of things we have to watch as meteorologists that we have to interject into. So I know AI seems like it could be overwhelming and taking over the world, but there is some human interaction into it. But we are very fortunate and very excited to be working with them and our partners here with Common Vision, what is called the Horizon AI. What a cool name that is. It reminds me of the Event Horizon. Ever seen that movie? Anyway. All right, so here's a look at the wider scope on this. And new model runs are coming in now. I don't think they're ready yet, so I apologize. It's different timing on when things update, and that's just because of when I'm live here on the blog. But I'll at least point out some things here for you guys. All right, so here we go into Tuesday morning. Doesn't show too much of that activity early in the day that could have contained the pea-sized hail in a few cases as that wind streak goes by. Still wouldn't rule it out. We'll get into Tuesday afternoon. It focuses a lot of the storms up to the north. I will say, though, the newest run that I'm seeing is updating behind the scenes. It hasn't transferred to this image yet. Does have this a little more blown up here. So Tuesday afternoon still looks like a target. I'll show you some other models in just a second to kind of compare and contrast, right? We get into Tuesday night. More activity, showers and storms. Again, the front is key. And some of the models want to get it stuck in Indianapolis. Some want to get stuck along I-64. Boy, that's going to make a big difference. Huge difference, in fact. If it does not make it to I-64, then we will still hold on to very warm weather, 80-degree temperatures, and only spotty thunderstorms. But if it ends up staying more or heads down to I-64, we are going to see repeated rounds of thunderstorms. And take severe weather off to the side. Let's get rid of everyone's asking about tornadoes and hail, wind damage. Let's move that to the side. Now we got a whole other issue we got to worry about here, and that will be flash flooding. This is a tremendous amount of rain this front will have with it on a repeated fashion. I'm not saying it's going to be what we just came out of, but I am saying that it can cause problems and with the flooding and everyone trying to be out and about. So we don't want to ignore that threat. I don't know if the Weather Service will go with flood watches or not. I think it's really going to depend on the confidence level of where the front sets up shop. But that's just one aspect I think we can't ignore. Yes, we still got to watch for the damaging wind potential. Few isolated tornadoes, everyone focuses on that, but really it's damaging straight line winds that I think are going to be more of a bigger concern here in a lot of these storms. All right, anyway, we move on. Here is Wednesday morning, showers and storms. There they go. Wednesday afternoon, steamboat race time. We'll see. Right now the radar is lit up. And again, this is why I think Wednesday still needs to be watched for an alert day setup. Yes, we don't have a lot of strong winds aloft, but we have what we call a downdraft cape that is pretty strong in this area. More of your pulse, severe weather potential, downburst winds. These can be sneaky. I have seen these do more problems with knocking tree limbs down on non-outlook days, even from the Storm Prediction Center. You see this more in the summer, though. But these can cause problems. So that's why I think we need to watch Wednesday carefully. We get into Thursday. Here is the warm front portion of it. Here's the center of the low. So that's been around since last week when I was talking to you all. So the first wave moves by, and then here comes the low, firing up what looks to be the strongest of the entire week of thunderstorms that, according to the horizon, wants to do 2 lines of storms. We'll see if that ends up being the case. Boy, that would be a long night. But heavy rain for sure. Continuing into early on Oaks Day. Oaks Day, the only thing we got to watch, you see it, spotty showers, but look at that. What is that? Come on. It's a secondary lobe rotating around the Great Lakes. There are other models that do show this. These would be more of an issue of gusty winds and hail, but the timing of that, I'm hoping, will be after Oaks itself and more into Derby Eve, more into later Friday night, not impacting the track at all. So that's the way it's timing out anyway, as it would move by and then allow us for a quiet Derby day. All right, that's the horizon. Let's get into our in-house graph model. See what it shows here. This one, of course, I can add the cape onto it. And you can see we've got today just a little bit of fuel to work with. It didn't fire up anything. Relatively capped too. There's a lot of warm air that's going to be flying over our heads today. So I'm not too worried about storm threats today, but one or two may try to pop. I can't rule it out. But the idea that we'd hit the bed races anyway is pretty slim. And the bed races is always actually has had really good weather, the bed races. It's one of my favorite events to watch, especially the tailgating, all the smack talk that happens before they go inside to do the races. But I think it's a big issue there. All right, so let's advance this. Let's get into tomorrow morning. Okay, tomorrow morning, this is where we get that wave that's moving by, and you see just very light development. And this could be sprinkles. It may not be much more than that, but given how warm we're going to be today, I wouldn't roll out some pea-sized hail on a couple of those tomorrow morning. So I don't want you guys to be caught off guard by that, but nothing severe to worry about. All right, then we heat things up. We build up the cape. Oh, boy, where's Adam? Adam knows this. You get a lot of gold, not good. And the cape coming in is moderate to nearing extreme levels on some of the cape, the fuel. A lot of fuel is available here. Now, this will cap us for a while Thursday afternoon. I think we'll be able to hold on to a fairly warm setup in the afternoon. But unfortunately, the way this front is, it will take care of that and ignite the thunderstorms. And this is what it has for Tuesday evening. Now, here's the issue. Will this impact Derby? A lot of the races are obviously daytime. They start to clear things out roughly around this window of the 6, 7 p.m. time period. Everything starts shutting down. So it's really just watching to see how fast they develop. If they develop a little later into the afternoon, evening, we may be able to miss majority of what happens at the track. But if they develop a little earlier, then yeah, we got bigger problems to worry about. So otherwise, very, very warm. All right. I don't think we're going to get to 90 here, but it will be a very summer feel outside in the mid 80s, a lot of humidity, hazy sunshine. Clouds should begin to fill in quickly, and then the thunderstorms just rapidly develop over us with likely some warnings could get issued there. All right, that will eat up all the cape. So you see all the red goes away, just like Pac-Man, eats it away. All right, so that calms us down into Wednesday morning, overnight, Tuesday and early Wednesday. But Wednesday, here comes the warm front. This is the same front that's been stuck, but now that low down in Texas has grabbed it. So now it's beginning to lift it north. And I don't like the look of this for Wednesday because I think there could be some strong thunderstorms that may pop along that warm front as they drift northbound. So again, Wednesday could be flagged as an alert day. If I see more support of the downdraft cape, I think that will be the way to go there. Okay, so that moves on by. Then we get ready for this model ends. Again, that's one of the cool things about Horizon is it can keep going all the way past Derby Day and give you a high res, right? This model has got a limit. Most high res models stop at about 60 hours on average, and this one's no different. So we can only see the beginning of Derby of where that warm front will be moving into the area. Any questions before I get into more of the severe weather outlooks that are out from other AI? Me too. Oh, you're talking about the gold versus red. I get that. The thing is that gold really just, when that gold lights up, I think it gets your attention more than the red does, to be honest with you. I think gold is I think maybe different colors could be used, but here's the thing. There's so many colors that are out there now for signaling rain, snow, sleet, different colors for tornado watches. Some severe weather warnings in different cities and markets look different than others. It's a mess. I get that. Meteorologists meet every year at conventions, and that's all we talk about is why are we using so many different colors? Can we not agree on one color? It's a big debate. I think it's fine to show colors as long as you explain it, and that's what I'm trying to do to you all, just let you know what to look for and what they mean. So I hope that helps, but unfortunately, there's not much control over that for right now, but your feedback is important. Absolutely. So always let us know how you're feeling on that. And maybe that's something we can work on. So thank you all. Appreciate it. Kevin, any tornado threats this week? Any front, anytime you got a front moving in and clusters of thunderstorms and colliding storms, especially, there's always going to be a tornado threat. Is this a supercell outbreak type of ordeal? No, there's not enough wind aloft. The wind aloft is not even close to some of the other severe weather events we've had this year. So that's good, but it is enough. It is enough to cause, and everyone focuses on tornado damage, but you got to really watch these downburst winds and straight line winds. I'm telling you, in our area, they cause more problems than tornadoes do. They're more widespread on tree damage and power outages. So you really got to watch those more. So I know everyone gets nervous on tornado warnings, but these straight line winds and downburst winds have got to really be watched. Okay, let's see. Try to get the other questions. Weather with Jackson. Hey, weather. Sorry, my mouse is not working. Where'd you go? The SBC has no tornado risk for the metro Tuesday, and there's no current SBC outlook calibrated for Thursday. Yeah, I covered all that of why I think that's the case. I don't know if they'll put in a 5% tour with any of the storms for tomorrow. They may. But I think right now it's a lot of downbursts. Again, that Cape is high. Anytime you get Cape like that high, I'm sorry, I don't issue the outlooks, but you just don't mess around with that. You got plenty of fuel. If storms can pop, they're going to get strong. They're going to get strong. Not all day rain anytime this week. That's a good point, Austin. I don't think I see that. It's very summary, right? You're going to have some stuff in the morning. You have certainly stuff in the late afternoon, but the highest threat really for most of these events is going to be that 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. That is going to be a rough period the entire week to battle thunderstorms. All the other times it'll be scattered and you will get some sun mixed in and pleasant moments outside where it's like, oh, this is not too bad. So that's why I mentioned at the very start of the blog is that there will be some times where it's not too bad. Blue, is the AI model just for this week? Yes, that is for this week that I showed there. Okay, so let me show you what we've got from the other AIs you guys always love to look at. CSU. All right, CSU has got for the outlook tomorrow. Here's your tornado potential. Does not have it here. It does have the hail potential over us, and I think that's just because the Cape is so high, and it has certainly the damaging wind threat right over us, which I think is the main box to worry about, is the damaging wind. I would say damaging wind, number 1, hail, number 2, flash flooding, number 3, tornado, number 4. If I had to rank them, that's the order I would go. Damaging wind, hail, flooding, tornado. That's the way the threats look to me right now. Here we go with Wednesday. Does tame it down. Again, focuses right there where the low is forming. Again, trying to get its act together. But you see a little bit of a hint. All right, a little bit of a hint. And it's hail, too, which is interesting for Wednesday morning or Wednesday into the afternoon, and maybe a little bit of damaging wind. There's some hints of it trying to build toward the Ohio River, and I think that's why there'll be some sort of an outlook. At the very least, there'll be a marginal, but there could be a slight. We'll see. All right, so break down some of the events. Bed race is always a fun time, right? Looking good, dry. I'm not too worried about storm chance directly hitting that area, but a spotty downpour on the radar this afternoon is possible, but the risk for it at the Broadbent Arena is low. And that'll be live, too, on Wave, by the way. Wednesday. All right, well, we're going to go with the scattered thunderstorms. Again, that warm front, I do think is going to be active. So this will be a little more at risk. The first few races may be okay, but you get later in the afternoon, you're going to notice more of an overcast setup and dark skies, and then you'll start to hear some thunder for showers and thunderstorms at that point. And then as we get into the main races for the end of the week, here's Derby, Oaks, and Derby rain chances. Notice the spike that happens for Thursday night as the highest will be Thursday night, and then we'll taper it down. There may be another mini spike at some point here, Oaks night. I wouldn't be surprised if we have to add that in, depending on that second lobe that moves in after the Oaks race. And then right now we'll keep Derby dry. So here is the outlook, by the way, for Derby. 151, 67 degrees, and partly cloudy. Just 5 days away. Wow, 67. It'd be very similar to Saturday's weather, this past Saturday, actually. I don't know why I have the weekend forecast there. Didn't mean to do that. Let's go back and go right into the 10-day. There we go. All right, what questions can I ask or answer? And then I got to run for you all. Uh, what in the world are you guys talking about? I remember some bad wrestling in infield 1 year ago. Look, I used to be assigned to the infield the first few years I was here when the infield was wild. There were a lot of things I could not show, and there's some stories I cannot tell you. But I saw some things that I can't get out of my head. It was a wild time, but honestly, it doesn't happen that much anymore. It's all built up now. I kind of think that was kind of a cool Derby tradition of the wildness of the infield, personally. But that all changed, and it's a lot tamer than it used to be. But I'm glad I have those memories in my head because it was pretty wild, pretty wild. Temperatures don't look as cool as they did. You're right. That cool wave for for May is focused more east northeast, not over us. So that may save us from having to deal with cool weather right into Mother's Day, like it looked like last week. So that's a good thing. I like that trend there as well. All right, one more question. Let's see, Austin. I'll take yours. I'll take Michael's too because I don't talk to Michael very often. Big warm up next week. Not a really big warm up. It just will be a gradual warm up, and eventually the way the high, it's going to be very amplified, big time blocking setup. So this may gain us several days of dry weather. What in the world where is that weather pattern for this week? We missed it by a week. Gosh, that'd been so much easier, less stressful. But it will be a quiet period, and eventually we'll get into a stormy one after that. All right, Michael, I want to get to your question if I can find it. Michael. Here you are, Michael Ross. Will Oaks be humid and uncomfortable? No, I wouldn't say humid. I think it will be the period during the day has that look where it's sunny, and then you get a dark cloud showing up, and then you get a quick little shower, and everyone kind of seeks shelter and puts the ponchos on, and then the sun comes back out, and you're back out in your outfits again having fun, and then another dark cloud moves in. It's going to be exhausting on that end, but it will be overly pleasant. It's just a matter of dodging the downpours that move through. I'm hoping they don't have lightning because there's a lightning issue for Churchill Downs. They have to stop the races, and that can cause delays. But I think as far as anything, a little more organized on lightning and heavy rain for now, that looks to be after the big race for Oaks Night. All right, guys, that's it. I got to run. I appreciate y'all as always. Thanks for watching. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to have more on midday. Look, this is going to be an ever-changing forecast, guys. As you can tell, there's a lot of moving parts here. So I'm relying on you all to keep checking back in. All right, no excuses. That's your assignment. There'll be a Scantron test after Derby. All right, take care. See you soon.